Welcome to Natural Habitat Adventures, Daily Dose of Nature. I'm your host, Sunny Vanderstar. Today's topic is biomimicry, solving human problems using nature's designs. And it will be presented by our fabulous NatHab expedition leader, Arpita Dutta. Arpita, thank you so much for being here today and for bringing us one of my favorite topics, biomimicry. Let's go ahead and dive in.
Thank you, Sunny, for this wonderful introduction. And yes, thank you everyone for tuning in today. And as Sunny mentioned, that it's her interesting topic, and I think it's the same because this is the third part of this webinar. Though I have done the two long back, so I thought that this, and there was a call for it that we should do another webinar on biomimicry. So here we go, almost after a year. But this is very fascinating, you know, the kind of world we are living in today, and the global crisis we are facing. And this something which can save us, I think it's nature. So, and its biomimicry is a fascinating and innovative approach where if we observe clearly, we can solve problems, you know, from nature's time-tested solutions. I mean, because nature has everything, and it involves also emulating and adapting all the biological strategies, process, system found in the natural world to solve human challenges, of course. But this biomimicry has an ancient root. I mean, throughout history, humans have observed, learned from the natural world to develop tools, technologies, and solutions. But of course, the name has been given new, that's biomimicry or biomimetic engineering, which a lot of people are getting into this subject, which is pretty new to science as well. But initially it started, Otto Herbert, he actually brought this term biomimetics, and one key figure in popularizing the term biomimicry and advocating for its practice is your Jenny Penius. So she has written a book on biomimicry, innovation inspired by nature, in 1997, which played a pivotal role in bringing the concept to the forefront of the modern science. And it was a necessary thing which has to happen now, because somehow we have to bring the things back which we are lost and stop using those unsustainable things which can actually affect more on environment. And definitely we all are connected. If environment is getting affected, we are getting affected too. So to start with a few examples of it, though I have mentioned it in my previous biomimicry webinar, but this is something, a little addition to it, which is, but before that, it's like we have this huge industry where we are using new techniques and all, and in between a lot of techniques whichever has happened has caused a lot of harm, even in case of emitting greenhouse gases, that also has happened. But even in the pre-industrial thing, people have followed it, right? Like this rock cut architecture, which has happened almost 6000 BCE. The pyramids are there. It's incredible, like how it's standing and how it has been built. And Leonardo da Vinci's that wing sculpture, which made the man like to get the wings to fly. You know the concept of doing that. And the sericulture, which has been like happening for so long years, and of course the lotus leaf used as an umbrella. There are innumerable number of examples for which we can say that human, in those period, in those time, they have been using nature solution for the sustainability. Gradually things have changed, but even if they have changed, nature always shows us, I mean the human, that she's there. We just need to know that how to look or how to observe things. So before I start, I would say that we know about the bullet train, right? I mean, in Japan, especially Japan is known for its bullet train, Shinkansen, which runs in Japan at a speed of almost 150 to 200 miles per hour. And rather now they have developed, but though that is not in the process, but they have developed, which is run near about 300 miles per hour. But all this has started in 1964. Sorry, the 1964, when the the World Cup things were happening out there, and after only that, this bullet train concept or bullet train engineering was has started, like to make it run much more faster, but which caused an atmospheric pressure wave to build, with that high speed bullet train, I mean, up in front of the train, and produced a sonic boom while entering and exiting the tunnel. And definitely that was a disturbance, like caused disturbance to the neighbors and as well as the wildlife. So the engineers had to find a solution to reduce the sound without sacrificing the speed or using more energy to it. So the head of the engineering team was a birder. So he went out for birding, and suddenly he was just looking. Definitely he has been, I mean, he has observed this kingfisher many times, but that day he was looking at it and he could find out that when the kingfisher was diving, I mean, it's a steep dive, right, from a branch, and it hardly make any splash before even touching the water surface, because it cannot disturb the prey before it catches it. So that made him think about it, that even it is building, I mean, around the beak, it is also creating a vacuum of air pressure, but the water is not getting disturbed unless and until it is diving in. So that made him think, and then this kingfisher beak, the kingfisher beak mechanism started with the, they have started developing that in a different way. So the over here, what has happened is this one is a one sound, and another sound was causing when that electric wire, or you call this, I mean, this pantograph, this exact technique is called that, which has a zigzag thing, which the special device which mounted on the electric train or any other cart to collect current from one or several contact wires. And when the air rushes overhead the wire, and it causes whirling, like mass of air, and it creates a sound. So these were the two sounds they had to reduce. And the bullet train engineers found that kingfisher beak is a rotational parabolic body with like a both upper, if I go there, with a both upper and lower tap, and there is a small hinge out there which is tapered, and from this the base of the beak is broader and it has a pointed tip. So they have started creating bullets in the form of kingfisher beak, and kept on doing research and development with a in a tunnel, like in a scaled tunnel. And in 1997, the 500 series Shinkansen train started, which actually runs in this 150 to 200 miles per hour. And that has almost reduced 70% of the sound, like that. And this was one sound correction was done. And the second sound correction was about this, which has been done by the feathers of an owl feather. So what has happened is we know that when an owl is flying, they don't create any sound. And that happens because I'm just going little back and forth with this. They in their the edge of the feather has these curvy things and very steep, which actually let the air passes through. And this technique they have created here so that the air can passes and they don't make a sound. So that's how they have reduced both the sounds and make the bullet train much more efficient on the track without creating a sound and without reducing the speed. And because of all this, the turbulence which used to happen, that has reduced, which actually helped them to conserve a lot of energy as well as fuel. So that was an amazing like technology they have come from this kingfisher beak and the feather of the owl are got into this Shankenson train, and it has been running now fantastic. And of course, if they are starting off this 300 miles per hour train, which will reduce more, like it's travel like 48% of the sound, um, the sound travel, of course, that will create another history for this bullet train. And with that, taking that bullet train, the owl feather, engineers have brought another technology or another nature sustainable solution is the wind turbine. Not only so the wind turbines generate electrical power, at vast scale without releasing of any greenhouse gases. And that's the reason why we need a lot. And because it is cost effective, the design cannot go wrong, or they have to design it in such a way so that it can sustain both the cost and the cause. So biome renewable design, they have started, which is the feather edge technology. They have started. And this feather is technology for the outer portion of the turbine blade. So you can see the turbine blades would be like this. And the air, what happens is the air rushes around the blade at a speed of up to 300 kilometer per hour, which is near 200 miles per hour, near about. So some of it curls down into that space between the long strands and the long serrated teeth, gathering one sound wave, and the same of it curls down at of the teeth, gathering on the second sound wave a moment later. So I don't know, let me tell you like this. So if this is the one, so they actually gather two wavelengths throughout this whole wing, because the wing patterns are different and they kind of happen after after a while. One they start, and while having this carved edge like the owl feather, they actually do the cancellation of the sound. But when the two wings come together, they actually cancel the sound, and that makes the wind turbine go smoothly, like without making any sound. And the wind tunnel tests have shown that the technology can reduce noise level by 50 to 80%. And the reduction of the noise and the turbulence behind this allows the turbine to spin slightly faster in the same speed wind and generate more power. So it's like a win-win thing for the turbine designers. And then this was the spinning blade of for the owl feather that they have mimicked. But now it comes, they have created another addition to this wind turbine, which actually add on to more power and creating, to add on to more, creating more power, which is the spinning blade creator. This, they have mimicked this maple leaf, maple seed, I mean, when the seed actually flow, they swirl, right? So what happens is the spinning blade creates suction that pulls the air in the middle area where the blade meets, right? That means here. So they have created this one, another small spinning wheel, just like the maple seed, and it's called the power cone, this area. So what happens is, to capture that extra power, the company designed this power cone. Uh, this fits into the center of the turbine and smoothly channels the air back onto the blade. And this trick, of course, another nature solution. So it couldn't have gone wrong. And the turbine added torque, which increases their efficiency and the electricity generating capability. Imagine, I mean, these are, I mean, initially, does the wind turbine, okay, that is good for, for the energy release, and then the addition of 2-3 things together, that made it now more efficient, this thing. Yes, so this is how the nature solution is helping human, or the engineers, scientists, and the humankind to develop more fascinating things, which can actually provide us a lot of sustainable solutions. Next, I would go for this. Acha, first I'll take a short gap. If anyone can understand what it is, if you may please write on the chat box. Just we have like 2-3 seconds. I'll just stay silent. Okay, so I am sure few of, I mean, maybe you got it, but this is an extraordinary thing. I mean, this is under electronic microscope, which looks like this, but this is actually of an like ocean dweller, not this one, not the whale. So comparing two ocean dweller, whale and sharks, have you ever noticed that being in the same habitat, why sharks don't get barnacles? Look at the shark skin. I mean, it's smooth. It seems like everybody, like every morning, they get a good brush on their skin if we compare it to a whale skin. So this structure is actually the texture of the shark skin. So what is there is, the shark skin is covered by tiny flat V-shaped scales called dermal denticles. So these are called the dermal denticles, and they can be of different shapes and sizes. And I mean, just like how the fish scales are, they are like teeth. They looks like teeth. And because of its rough texture, shark skin like discourage parasitic growth like algae or barnacles on it. Similarly, shark skin inspired surface prevent bacteria and microorganisms from holding onto them for a long period of time, like, resisting bacteria growth. So because the water flows through in, it actually takes away all the dirt and bacteria along with it. And also it helps in another thing, which is in the medical, especially, I mean, now it has been already proved. So people have started observing this, and they have like brought it into the medical administration, this to protect the hospital from germs and bacteria. So what happened is, sharklet technology, a biotech startup that specialized in making germ deflecting surfaces. So they have created plastic coatings for the handles or for the door, wherever, I mean, mostly people touch in the hospitals. So in California, they have tasted this, and it is a success story that they could prevent at least 68 to 70% of the germs to be attached in the door. So, and I think this actually helped during the COVID. I mean, we know that what the virus or how much things can go on. So something protective shield like this could really help the hospital to stay in a much more safer for the doctors or the helpers, and as well as for the people who are visiting the hospitals. With so and of course with the hospitals, they are also using in the laboratory techniques when they are manufacturing things, they are using the shark skin texture film to protect it from the germs and bacteria. And with that, these dermal denticles not only prevent the bacteria growth, but also helps in their movement. Imagine if there is the water pressure and it can go through the surface, it's definitely like the denticles decrease the drag and the turbulence, allowing the shark to swim faster and more quickly. And the speedo is a like Olympiad what do you say, uniform, yeah. And or the thing they have, the swimsuit they have created that which mimic the shark skin tech and created a fabric to the exact proportion of the shark denticles, improving the swimmer's speed. But though it has been banned during any competition, because yeah, I mean you cannot have that to increase your speed. So yeah, still it is banned, but there are still things are going on which can really help for the sport people. I mean, that's how they have started to work with the Olympiads out there. So, and taking that denticles thing, which can actually discourage bacteria to get into that structure or to the skin, there are other things like waterproofing strategy along with that, but not with the shark skin technology. So imagine this strategy. I mean, much of a colorful, breathable, and waterproof clothes are terrible for nature as they don't decompose easily or doesn't even decompose sometimes. I mean, we do face that and we have to wear it, because especially for us who does, I mean, a lot of, field works and stuff, we do get a lot, a lot of clothings, which sometimes get really damaged very quickly, and we have to dispose it. But as they are, I mean, they are not good for the environment, few of them, especially the waterproof things, and where there are a lot of polymers and things are mixed up. As they're combined with like dyed, porous, slick materials, so that doesn't help in recycling. So coding, like there is I mean, a company called Amphico. They have created something very different, which is very unique, and it's completely degradable to nature, and it just decomposes so easily. And this and everything like mini living organism, there are a lot of mini living organism in our in the soil, right? But it is very difficult for them also to get like to decompose each and everything, because they are non-degradable substances, the toxic plastics, I mean toxic particles shed during we use or we wash. So those toxic particles cannot be recycled or degradable, right? So this company has created easy recycled textile, building up complex, like complex performance, which can give complex performance from simple substances. And they mimicked scales, wing, and exoskeleton. Scales we know that from the butterflies, and also from the tiger beetle, and the exoskeleton. So how it works? Sorry, this is a springtail bug. Look at this hairy structure. they are even thinner than our hair, and it is covered with waxy coating. And this pillar like protrusions, like in this bug, is non-polarized. And we know that water molecules are polarized, so they repels when the drop lands on its surface. And while sliding it, it carries the dust particles and bacteria out of it. And this bug particularly lives in the murky area, so it has to keep itself clean. So that's how nature has created or evolved in such a way that this polarized pillar can get rid of this water droplet or the murky water. So Amphico built up the same texture and add the colors to it by mimicking the butterfly scales and tiger beetle. So how did it work? So, and imagine by doing that, they are actually avoiding countless dyes which are used to make clothes colorful. So how it happens is this multi-textured surface of these insects manipulate different this RGB lights to produce microscopic dots of a few set colors. And when they are viewed from a distance, this multiple colored dots looks like different shades of colors. And Amphico use four natural colors, yarn, and twisting them into different combination, they have created multiple colors for their garments. So no harmful material and dyes which affects environment after which can affect environment after the use. They can get easily decomposed. Imagine how wonderful that is, that what you are wearing when you are, even if they are not in a condition to give away, whenever and or whenever it is getting like out in the soil or outside in a trash, they actually get decomposed. How fantastic. But we need a lot of production so that the cost can come down, because it's not possible for everyone to afford it. Though I don't know the price, but yeah, it's high priced. And talking about the decomposition part, we have another thing which is happening rather in NHA trips. In many places, we are using these degradable plastics. In India, we are doing that. So imagine the plastic problem. How plastic is a problem globally, escalating environmental issues associated with production, use, disposal, and etc. And it's a worldwide thing. The oceans are filled with plastics now, more. So, and what are the causes are happening? That like exponential plastic production, single-use plastic, plastic pollution, microplastic, toxic chemicals, greenhouse gas emission, waste management challenge, and all of them together, the global impact. Imagine something as hardy as the plastic we get from nature, which can actually work like the plastic, the non-degradable plastic we use. How wonderful that would be. And that has happened. So there are microbes with enzymes that enables them to break down complex molecules like plastics, right? But um, I mean, but the microbes can attack on the surface. The polymer chains are bound so tightly together that only a few bonds are exposed for the enzymes to reach. And for that, there is the material. So entropic materials, they are mixed enzymatic, embedding into plastic, possible by like to get the enzymes to get, I would say, to influence the enzyme through the plastic production process inside the protective biodegradable molecular covers. So they have to create those kind of natural elements where the enzymes or the microbes can break them down. It's mostly made out of a lot of starch kind of thing, which comes from the nature and which are very hardy. So when the plastic is exposed to composting contains with a composting condition with a sufficient heat and moisture for enough time, the enzyme effectively eats the plastic from inside out within like hours or days, not simply like breaking it down into microplastic, but disintegrating it back into the simpler molecule which get mixed into the soil again. And these molecules can be recaptured and reused or be broken down further by the natural microbes in the soil or during water treatment. How wonderful that is, imagine. And these organisms of all kind produce enzymes that can break down complex molecular chains that we know. That's how the art has been sustaining for such a long time. And now we are bringing back the same techniques, same technologies into our day-to-day life so that we can bring back that environmental thing in our life. With this, we have something. I mean, of course, we are talking about all textures, clothing, degradable and decompose. And I think when we talk about the texture part, one thing we cannot escape is the like invention of Velcro. And I think it is the most prominent example of nature in science. So Velcro was invented in around 1940-41 by Swiss inventor George de Mestral. So one day what happened is, as usual, it's just on the observation. See, one day after he took his dog for a walk, and when they came back, he noticed that some burrs are stuck on his dog fur and as well as on his pants. Being a curious person, being an inventor and an engineer by himself, he studied them under microscope and observed that this bird has the pointed part has hooks, which inspired him to design the popular material which is called Velcro. And it is like, and any texture or anything which is getting attached to, and this is a way how the seed gets dispersed by traveling with the animals. And this is exactly what has happened with Velcro. So he created two strips, like two-sided turner, one with the hooks like burrs and one with the soft fabric like plants. So yeah, when they come together, they get kind of attached, entangled in those areas, and that's how it's like they have created a strong strip of Velcro. I especially like it. Like, I forgot the name of the dog. Somewhere I read it. So this was amazing. I mean, imagine there's a little observation. I mean, we have been like studying this seed dispersal for such a long year, and we have been seeing that. But just by observing and thinking of taking it into a different level to give it a solution, I think this is so simple. I mean, there is no technology, nothing. A simple thing to observe and get it into our regular life. So I really like this invention a lot. With this, we have another important thing, and especially it is different from all this texture part, but it actually affects one of or includes one of the important factor we have in nature, that is water. Imagine in a desert, there is mostly no source of water. So what happens there? I mean, how the engineer has got some idea from a desert, or rather an inhabitant of a desert. So there is a certain species of darkling beetle that live in the Namib desert, are able to harvest water vapor using an ingenious series of, of tips and bumps on their wings, and how they gather it. So what happens is, over here, if you see, they have a lot of bumps. I mean, if you see this, they have a lot of small bumps. I mean, over here it looks very smooth, but actually if you see under microscope, it has a lot of tips and bumps out there. So they actually accumulate this water vapor, and then this beetle, see, it actually tilted its body, and all this water seeps down near its mouth, from where it drinks the water. And I mean, over here, the structure allows the beetle to survive in the arid environment. I mean, otherwise it would have been so difficult, imagine. And by looking at this beetle, engineers and scientists have created dome-shaped structure in the desert like this. This is a miniature structure of it. So the water gets collected and they have ridges out of it. And from this flat tape, the water ripples down and are collected to this area. And this is how they have created this dew bank. And this, I think these engineers are now developing a similar process, I mean, more developed process for collecting water for humans. I mean, this is an amazing technology. And the same thing, see, this is not really a very hi-fi scientific things behind it. It's just the observation that brought this engineers and scientists to build up this dew bank in the middle of the desert for human, like for our use. So yeah, this is another incredible innovation people have come up with. So after this desert beetle, we have another interesting, though it is not being started to use yet. It has been started discovering in 2017. Still, researchers are working on it, and have been volunteered on few human body as well, which is the medical adhesive. You know, the sandcastle worm, or this dusky Aryan slug, they give out a glue like a mucus stuff, and they are so strong that it's very difficult to pull them out if they are stuck with a structure. It's like a strong glue, and which is not toxic. So, what has been seen is, this slug here, they, I mean, they release mucus to keep themselves moist, and it can add certain amount of protein or different bonds of protein to its mucus to make this glue, by which it's strongly attached to the surface, and you know that it cannot be carried off by any predator. So that is how nature has created this. And the researcher team designed two layer two layers. One layer is a sticky surface that contains a polymer, and this polymer creates a strong bonding with the underlying tissue. So imagine if you have a cut, if your skin damaged and everything, this gluey thing can actually solve the problem. Even in surgeries, that can be used. That is what they are trying to do. It has been tested on pigs, skin, tissue, muscle, bone, even in cartilage, and even in heart. They have used it, and till now it has given a successful result. So researchers even focused on this adhesive glue can build I mean, can bind cartilage with bones as well. I mean, can you imagine a cartilage with bone, and it cannot like come out without any material which we can use, or any toxin which can be released from the material or the medicines we are using out there. So I think this can be another. I mean, if they come out with this solution, this will be another head storming solution for us, provided by nature, isn't it? I mean, it would be amazing if you start, doing heart surgeries where you don't have to use the needles to do the stitchings and stuff. You just put the glue, the 2-layer glue, which will be adhesive to the tissue, and they will slowly even make the bonding with the tissue, and it will slowly, I mean, it will become exactly like how the muscle used to be, because they will build up the cell division, and everything would happen out there, because this is a natural thing to put on. So yeah, this is how they have done it with the pig heart, that if they're putting this glue, then whether it is working or not. So yeah, it worked with that. And I think there are 20 volunteers they have got for human, but still the research is going on, and hopefully we will get the results soon with this. So now all the things we told, that which is like for our solution from the nature. But to save nature, we have to depend on nature itself, like, because it is not for the human but for the animals. It's an amazing innovation for especially for the birds who get banged on the glass and they die. And it's called the spider glass. In natural world, like natural environment, birds don't face the danger of glass windows, but they do have to be aware of other obstacles, including the spider web. Of course, the spider produce their web for two purposes. One, to attract the prey, and to protect the web from the birds of getting destroyed, like destroying them. So, and so these spiders produce and use a special kind of silk for their web that reflects UV, like ultraviolet rays, making them visible to birds. And we know that the bird vision, how the birds see the world, is in ultraviolet rays. That means in too much color they see. I mean, this is our vision, and this is how the bird would see. That's the reason why even out of all the similar kind of male, I mean, similar looking male, the female exactly know that which male she needs to mate with. This is another reason, because they see this color. So any little difference in the color, they know that who is carrying a better gene, or who is the best male to like to have the nest with. So yeah, so this thing is there. So what has happened is, and in now we have huge buildings and glass, and they are covered with glass, especially the office buildings, the corporate buildings, they are like that. So mostly during the migratory birds, or some birds which are flying, which they cannot see, they used to get bang and die. So one ornithologist ran to one of his friends, who is the owner of the Arnold glass, and they sat together to work on it, that how we can stop these birds who are colliding with this glass. And so they, after a lot of research and development, they come up with Ornilux bird protection glass, provided UV reflective coating that birds are able to see. But for us, it will be a normal glass shape to reduce the collision. So I think all these things, I mean, a little observant, because over here, yeah, when it comes to technical or chemical things which nature use, it becomes a little difficult, because we all cannot get into that thing because we need a lab or we have to be in the subject. But just observing nature, we can actually come up with ideas. And you know what? Now there are like institutes where you can place your observation that you think if we follow this, which is by nature, we can reduce the production or we can stop harming nature anymore, or we have found a different solution. And they even provide you grants if you're interested to work on it and if you have a team. So I think biomimicry, it's taking a huge place in our today's world. And here it doesn't end here. I mean, there are so many examples. If you want, you just Google this Biomimetic Engineering Institution or Biomimicry Institution or innovation industry. If you search for all these things, you will get a lot of data and a lot of information about biomimicry and biomimetic engineering. And as I mentioned, that you can actually give your observation to those institutes. And there are many more, like the construction and over here in India, in southern part of India, one team has actually managed to decompose mushrooms and they have created structures out of it. So yes, it is possible that you can create small structures out of even mushrooms. And with that, we have many other functions that we mentioned in the beginning, that the lotus leaf, I mean, they have amazing techniques that the water doesn't stop drop there. It just flow by, taking all the darts and all, exactly like those pillar protrusion of the springtail bug. The lotus leaf also has the same kind of technology, but a little different than them, this also have been used in the garments, or it has been used in the medical field to dispel the water. And also this technology now, it's a recent study that this technology is now being used in the solar panels as well, so that when the rainwater or the dust, they can actually wipe it by themselves. They really don't need enough water to clean those solar panels. So yes, we are open to a lot of observations. We are open, or we are being around nature. We are nature enthusiasts. So who knows that, any one of us can bring a lot of, observations in front. And we can also say that we have this little biomimetic mind in us. So yeah, thank you so much for listening to me. I thought that I won't be able to finish, so I was going really fast, but thank that we have a little time left for the question answer. Sunny, I'm ready to take up questions.
Excellent, thank you. That was fascinating. I want to first start by reminding everybody that they can submit their questions via the questions field in the control panel. And then I want to congratulate everybody who guessed shark skin. There were a few folks who understood what that picture was. We have some questions already, so let's go ahead and jump in here. Do you have any idea when we can expect self-degrading plastic to be commonplace?
Come in place means all over?
Yes, like the norm.
Like the norm. Oh, so this I don't know about the other part of the world, but India, I can say that right now we really don't have any like norms or rule by the government, because unless and until government make the rules, it's difficult to bring it into action. But who are realizing, like self-realization things, people who are using it, they are using it, because already we have this biodegradable materials like garbage bags, and even for the food, like to take away foods and all, they are using that. I mean, they are little costly, so it is not affordable for everyone, but still things are happening. But we don't have, I mean, in India, we really don't have any rule. And I can't say about the whole world, I mean, when it will come to a norm.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Talking about the dew bump, any estimates on the quality of water that the item can create, and what is the size of the bump?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. Good that whoever has asked, and thank you so much. So the thing is, the beetle is very small, like of near about an inch. If we say the adult one, near about an inch, not even an inch. So what happens is, they when in a desert, imagine in a desert, the pollution level and everything is not like how we have it in the city, right? So whatever water they are getting for the beetle, it's fine. But when they're accumulating the water for the storage, like for the human use, these water get filtrates. I mean, they go through a filter process and then the water is drinkable. I mean, they are actually accumulating drinkable water.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I apologize if I don't pronounce these words correctly. I'm not too familiar with them. But has heparin been produced due to watching leeches use hirudin? Are you familiar with those?
Yes, yes, I
Okay.
am. Yeah, you have pronounced it very, I mean, rightly. So, yes, so this is because while leech bite you, they release this chemical which actually is an anticoagulant. So those anticoagulant where it is needed, they have been inspired, but those things have different bonding. You know, like medical, I would say in the medical term, it's little different. But yes, there are cases where they have been using the heparins to as a blood thinner, and that has been first inspired from the leech. Yes.
Interesting. You might have mentioned this, but can you clarify if the slugs and California worms have to be killed to create the surgical glue?
They don't have to. Over here, as much as I have read about it, I haven't seen that where they have spoken about the killing of the slug, because if you disturb that slug, they create more like mucus with this protein bond. They start creating those gluey things so that they get stick to the surface where they are. So you can actually scrape away that glue and use it for your like in the laboratory.
Interesting. Let's see. Do you have any idea how bioluminescence has helped humans or scientists?
Bioelements, oh my God, that's a completely different subject. Okay.
If
And one of my,
bioluminescence has inspired any sort of, groundbreaking, um,
yeah, I get it. I get it. I think I need to get back with this, but this is going to be a huge thing. Thank you. I mean, please tell thank you the person who has asked this thing. I got my next webinar topic. I'll do it on bioluminescence, because that is one of my favorite topics as well. Because we see it so much around in mushrooms, I mean, in fungus and planktons. So definitely it will make a different, I think, a different topic to talk about. But yes, I don't know yet, but definitely which emits light, so we can definitely dig into the subject and know about it. But I'll definitely look for it. And the next topic would be on this. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for bringing us this topic today. It's always interesting to see what you research and share with us. That's the last question we have time for today, so I will turn it back to you for closing comments.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me, and thank you for asking questions that really keep me going. And have a great day and weekend ahead, though it's far, but still have a great week ahead. And Sunny, also for you, have a great week ahead. And
Thank
thank
you
you so
so
much for
much.
hosting it nicely.
We wish you the same. And I want to also thank everybody who tuned in. Please join us again tomorrow for our next Daily Dose of Nature. You can check out this week's lineup, including registration links, on our website at nathab.com/webinars. We did record today's presentation, and we will have the replay available on our website soon. With that, we'll conclude the webinar. Have a wonderful day, everyone.